Trying to find the video on here on the tablet so I can see if it shuts off. But I want to talk about social media, a Facebook example, which I don't use. I didn't use social media except to post like what I'm sharing, my thoughts and words now. I used to. I'll get to that in just one second here, a couple seconds. Okay, there it is. So let me see how this is. Okay, so where to start? The social media and what it's designed to do and what it's done to society in general. It's a mess. It's heartbreaking when you really look at it and see it for what it is and what's been happening for so long. And for me, what I was a part of as well, what I fell into. And here's the thing for me, I kind of stayed away from social media for a long time because I just didn't get into it, the whole sharing thing, because I had more kept to myself as I grew up. So I didn't get into the whole attention seeking and I didn't fall into that hugely outward narcissistic pattern of behavior where I was constantly trying to do the look at me, look what I did, look what I'm doing. For a while there, though, I did get on social media for a period of time while I was still insane. Um, and I played a part in the resounding echo chamber of negativity that was Facebook and Twitter, and it was that's what it is. That's what it's designed to do. That's what it's designed to be, and that's what it is. It's a huge echo chamber. The problem is there's so many negative or immoral or irrational or incorrect or just absolutely sick things that get put out, and they get put out constantly and then shared and reshared to where that kind of information is consumed on such a constant basis by so many as they look in their mind and their consciousness intakes everything from the screen as they scroll and as they click. There's so many things that will that drove me into this just darker state of things when I would see the ridiculousness and the nonsense and the bickering, and I would get involved in the bickering and the fighting and in the whole, it's this where everyone wants to be right. It's that whole thing where folks will have these in-depth text wars, text discussions, and of just trying to prove point after point after point to wax intellectual about absolutely anything they can, just to show that they know something about something. The problem is the things that are portrayed and presented as things to argue about or things to care about or things to pick a side on. It's all a setup. No matter which side you argue or pick, you are wrong because the whole thing was wrong. And the whole thing wasn't set up by you. So you're arguing someone else's nonsense constantly. I found out I was doing that for a while until I stopped. And now that's why I've changed with what I post. And that's why I don't look at social media, and I haven't for a long time. Long time to me now it feels almost like a lifetime, because it is a whole brand new lifetime since I came out of the psychosis I was in from what I grew up in, to put it bluntly. Where was I going? Well, yeah, now I only want to share my real organic thoughts and feelings right from me, because I don't want to add to the echo chamber of other folk nonsense. So let me get to this one example though. Because I still have a Facebook account, and because I still have a Twitter account, And now that I'm posting things, I'm putting those things on those accounts to where, whoa, if one were to scroll back far enough, one would see, like, as they scrolled, like a descent into insanity as they descended into my past of what I posted. And I left it all there. I don't care. It was me, it was the state I was in, and I was part of that echo chamber of madness. While it's embarrassing and I'm ashamed of what I had become, I know I'd become that really out of no clear choice of my own, because none of the choices were ever clear. I never realized that all the choices, that so many choices, were all set up upon setup upon setup based on false information. So let me get to this one post, because in the news feed on Facebook, a post popped up, was like liked or shared or something by somebody. It was probably liked or something by somebody where I didn't catch the name. I didn't see who it was because I didn't know the person who posted. And it was at a glance, I saw the picture and the words. And it was one of those moments where it was like, here's just a blatant, glaring example. So let me tell you what this is, though. Here's the post. The post was someone giving someone who looked to be homeless $20 with a comment of, I wanted to bless him. Now, on the very, very top surface layer of narcissistic reality, one might go, oh, that's so nice of you, right? You're such a good person. You have such a good heart. Now, remember those words. Remember nice. Remember heart. A person is its own thing. It's a corporation, which corporation on top of corporation, but we won't go there. Just the post on surface layer. And I saw, like, there was a couple comments like that that caught my attention of supportive. So immediately scrolled past, turned it off, and I was like, one of those moments, where I just like almost wanted to throw the phone again, because here's what I see and what I saw. When I looked at the picture, I thought about how the picture was taken, put myself in that position, right? Because I instantly knew this was messed up just from the word bless. I'll get back to it. Imagining how this picture was taken to get this exact shot. The man, disheveled looking man, on the ground, sitting on the ground, looking up like this, reaching out for the $20 bill that was not yet at his hand. The picture was taken with a hand in view holding the $20 bill before it got to his outstretched hand. The picture was snapped. That's very purposefully, isn't it? Look at me. Look what I'm doing. Look how great I am. I wanted to bless him. Now, on a deeper level, those that know what has been done with language here and the etymology of language and can pick apart language and know what's being said to them as an insult, and then they pick up as something being good and they start to use it as something meaning something good to them. When those around that know are snickering because they know what's been done to you, because you don't know what's been done to language and you don't know what you've done to yourself, let me explain. The $20 bill itself represents the money system, the financial system, the Babylonian. We'll go into the moon, the money, the moony. The Babylonian money magic system, the financial system that's only changed forms over the who knows how long, the fake history that's been taught. It doesn't matter what label you put on it. It only matters that we know that currency in this fake form of energy, currency, like electric current, it's fake. It's a false exchange of energy. So number one, that's already something messed up, right? Because I'm going to hand you this instrument of debt that has no value, that just by handing it to you, you accepting it and then using it, you're saying, I owe you this now because I hand you this 20. And then everybody's chasing around this infinite debt. Anyway, it's not about that, because I know that money, since it's there in that false form of currency and energy as it's in use in society, as we've been taught and trained to think is right. I know it's there, and I know that could help. That could help him. He could get food, he could get water with just that $20, right? I get it. That's not the point. In that act of narcissism, taking that picture of, look at me, look what I'm doing, look how great I am, and then posting it for the world to see in that attention-seeking, vampiric way of trying to absorb now others' good energy and feeling off of something you did, that it was selfish. And you know it was selfish, whoever you are. You know it. You know when you took that picture, you were doing it purposefully just to put out there to try and then soak in others' energy. As you wait, maybe fiendishly, for the little red counter to pop up on your notification to say that someone has interacted with you. To feed that addictive state that's built in the mind from social media very purposefully. Not your fault. Happened to me too. We all act out these psychopathies in our different ways. But now let me tell you this. Think about the word bless. Think about who says it most often. The religious folk. The religious folk, that I'm not talking about the good-hearted, good people religious folk. And I don't mean people, the folk. Folk that are good, that don't want to cause harm, that say these things with the best of intent behind them. Bless you. Bless you. Best intent at heart, because it's coming from a loving place. That's very obvious. I don't talk about that. And I get how people use language, and I don't judge them for it. But here's the but. Let me explain how someone views that, though. You are saying very openly in that one word that you are making him be the B-E less, L-E-S-S. You are making him, in one word, be less than you are, as you lend this great helping hand to this poor soul. Bless you. Be less you. Be less than I, because I am more than you, obviously. I'm giving you this handout, and I'm going to show the world how nice I am. Nice. Think of that word. The etymology of that word. And that word comes from an older French word that means careless. But the word itself, think of the letter N. Then the word right behind it, ice. It's a play on words and letters with words. With one word, multiple letters. In ice. You are in ice. Encased. In ice. In either heart or mind. In either consciousness and reason or in feeling. There's ice in there somewhere to do such a thing. In such a backward, mirrored aspect of itself. The act itself. The act of trying to do something kind and helpful. Those aren't publicized acts to then pull others' energy. They're not acts to then tell someone that you are less because I am giving you this handout or hand up because I'm better than you. It's only about helping. So those kind of things, they drive this narcissistic behavior out there, where the folk that think they have to portray this image of themselves in such a manner or form or fashion on social media, because they know they don't really think or feel in these ways. So they try and act out fake versions of this, fake versions of what they think a human being should do, instead of just living it, moment to moment, day by day, with no want or need for recognition, just for being themselves, just for being a person, an individual that cares about other individuals. How do you do that? I couldn't do that for so long because I did not care about other individuals for so long. Even whole groups of individuals. Why? Because I was trapped somewhere in my own central narcissistic, to, in a sense, me, little universe going on, and I didn't fully comprehend and reason out and feel just how deep and extensively things from my words to my actions to even my feeling, how it would affect others around me due to the state I was in and what I said and what I did. I didn't get the depths of it. Everything is so much deeper than we've been taught. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because it's a trap. It was made, all of this was made, the social media and all these other things were put out in such a way as to keep adults in an adolescent mind state, to give them this echo chamber where they could talk about these seemingly bigger real world issues like government and the sides of government, even though government, the word itself means govern, control, mente, mind. It means to control the mind. I mean, it's in the word. It's in all the words that we've been taught to use, and then just by manner of the way we were taught, and then the belief that's built on those words and the meaning that we're given for them, don't look deeper. It's a system of control that's been here all along. The thing about it is, it's been going on the whole time any of us have even, like before we were born, generationally so. That is why it's so hard to see it. And until you see it, you can't see it, because things are portrayed to be normal, and the mind is tricked into this narrowed perception of normality in this thing, like weather. Oh, the weather must not be changing very much. Yes, it is. Almost all the volcanoes around the Ring of Fire, along with everywhere else, are all erupting, have been. This has been going on. It's ongoing. The skies have changed in the last year exponentially more with the spray that was put out with the Operation Solar Shield that they talked about openly, and it's just why, for solar radiation management and mitigation, whatever. There's more going on up there that's only just not being talked about, that now has been normalized to the point where folk just don't notice something's going on. Even to the point where I can see the mist in the air at ground level on days when they spray heavily. Ground level, like a fog, like a real light, hazy fog. However, what's that have to do with social media? Well, that's just another place those kinds of things and truths are trying to be shared. But there's so much other stuff that's going on and being put out at such a rapid rate by folk whose minds are in this rapid rate of just crazy state of mind and crazy thought all the time, that the stuff that really needs to get folks' attention is being overlooked. And there's another reason for that as well. That's on purpose. The folk out there in all the systems of control and control structures that actually know what's going on and drive this whole thing purposefully. Not the folk that fall in deceptive as deceived by it like I did, like probably everyone I've ever known did. I'm not talking about those kind of folk. And I don't know the other kind of folk at those levels that that would do this on purpose. This, as in all of it, how it's set up. I don't know any of those people personally. At least I hope I never met any. Because, I mean, it's just, that is the evil of this world. That is the evil of this world that then gets the others that are tricked by it to become a participant, a willing participant in the evil of this world, and repeat it as taught, as driven by the repetitive trauma-based mind control programming, by all the negative images, by all the confused different things portrayed as things are portrayed on social media and media in general, just in picture and in sound. Dark, ugly pictures, destructive pictures, pictures of killing, pictures of suffering set to kind and beautiful tones of music. Pictures of nature, scenes of nature as it's destroyed. Set to some 440 tune, just blaring, yeah, 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 sound that just drives the inside into a feeling of excited rage almost at what it's seeing on the screen and what the resonance of the sound is doing at the same time. As nature itself tries to react to what nature is watching happen to nature and watch it glorified and even celebrated. As I fell into that same trap as well for a long time, to where I did not appreciate nature itself either. And I would be destructive as well and think it was funny. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame how we're brought up starting in school in that 12-year prison of just regular, whatever you want to call, grade school, high school, just regular so-called education of this society. It traps you into that adolescent mind state that you never get out of, separated into all these divisions of categories of different subjects that were learned at different times and different places without ever getting a broad overview of it all before you step out into the world. You step out into the world into a whole new thing you were never even taught about in school anyway. It's a whole different animal that you have to learn all over again, but you're still trapped in that adolescent divided mind state of different subjects and different peer groups and different cliques and different friends, different concepts, different ideas, different beliefs that haven't been reconciled into wisdom yet or knowing. And off you go into the real world, where there's only more destructive patterns waiting to be taught, to be repeated, to be perpetuated, etc., etc. Throughout this fake construct of so-called time that they like to label and put things to as they divide space and time as if it's two separate things. We've been taught all wrong. We can teach ourselves anew. We don't need any more outside teaching. That's what I'm trying to get across. All of us, with all we've been taught and all we've experienced, it doesn't matter the age, we have enough inside us to put reality right in ourself, for ourself, in our own perception, with our own reason and feeling. What has to happen? An admittance inside and realization inside has to take place that, yes, I've indeed been fooled. Yes, I have indeed played the fool, only because I was fooled. Now I will find truth. Now knowing truth, I'm not the fool. Now that I'm not the fool, and I'm not on that path, now I can speak the truth about the fool's path and try and point it out and point out that we were set upon that path. Most of us, the majority of us, due to no choice or fault of our own, or our parents, or their parents. I don't know where the fault lies. That's not my place to figure out. They know where the fault lies. Because the truth is like this: once you know it, once you feel it, once you stand in it, after you get over the hurt of being tricked and you reshape your own perception and consciousness to be able to reason these things out. I just forgot what I was saying. I was going to say something about that. But once you do that and you can see it, what was it? About the truth. What was it? Because there's so many things I could say that I want to say. I'm starting, my throat's getting dry. Once you're able to find truth, the truth of your own infinite soul, your own infinite spirit, once you can grow it after you realized it was tricked and you let it come back out, and your consciousness expands and you become more than just your physical body finally. You finally become a united trinity of mind, body, spirit, in full control, in the moment, with a broad, expansive overview. You see, the point isn't to judge and find the fault. You don't have to, because the truth is like that. It's a if the shoe fits, wear it type of thing. And the thing about the truth is, it's a one size fits all shoe, so to speak. So just by speaking the truth, and if other folk are able to hear the truth and feel it, because there's a profound difference you'll notice if you give yourself a chance. What you see, not just on the screen, but in reality, in living, breathing men, women, and children, watch them. Are they speaking from the heart with reason? Are they connected, or are they a blank stare that is just repeating some words that they were taught about a concept? What is it? Because I realized I was like that. I realized I was cut off to that point to where I was in this weird automatic mode, and I've talked about that at length. And that's been done on purpose, but that can be fixed and healed. Again, I am a huge I almost said believer, but I got that thing. I don't believe those things, because you have the belief that, look at that word, be, and then lie right in the middle of it. Be a lie. No, I know. So it's about knowing about the healing properties of cannabis. That's what I suggest. Not smoking it as a crutch to escape from some sick reality, and to get some crutch to escape from racing thought. No, it's not for that. It's an energetic plant medicine that will heal your body, mind, and spirit. If intaken and appreciated, infuse it in oil. Intake the oil for what it is, sustenance for the body to grow. Like food was supposed to be and is, if you get the plant-based food and not the fake chemical concoctions of things shaped and packaged and presented as food, let alone meat. And that's not food. Sustenance for the body, mind, and spirit. Does that make sense? that a dead, living, sentient being then being consumed would be good sustenance for the mind, the body, and the spirit? Absolutely not. And that's only because I know that. That's only because I healed from years of that. And quickly. Of course, I consider quickly a period of about, you know, I can't say for sure. It's been about 2.5 years now. 2.5 years out of 42 years of life isn't a lot of time, but to me feels like a lifetime. Like I say, and I don't get hung up on that ridiculous construct of time all the time, and this hour, the next hour, today, tomorrow, next week, down the road. Back then, 2 days ago, a month ago, a year ago, I don't stay in those places. I stay in the present. So when I talk about the past, it's all the past to me, and it's all gone. So it's kind of hard to put things in frames of reference for others sometimes without expending a little extra thought. And that's a habit I've broke myself of doing as well, is spending the energy of thought on things I didn't want to think about, or things that weren't, whatever. Repeating thought loop patterns. Yeah, and they're no more intrusive thoughts that just sneak in and create those clown circus car nonsense things that used to happen in my brain some years ago. Anyway, I guess I'll stop there for now, but that's what I really wanted to say that about social media, because social media is destructive when it's used the way it's been used and the way it was put out to be used. It's on purpose. Please take caution in how you use it. Please take caution in the words you use. Please look deeper into the words you use. Know the meaning of those words. Know that when you say certain things, other folk are looking at you from the ones that know the esoteric or so-called occulted or hidden side of things. They hear you. They see you. They watch you. And they're not all bad. I'm not bad. I am good, and I'm only trying to do good and trying to help. I am trying to help actively now, because I used to do bad. Like I said, a 42-year lifespan, 2.5 years since I realized I was more. To me, I have a lot to make up for. So please know these things are true. And please know that other folk out there, their perception of reality is much different than yours. They see and hear things in a much different way than what you see and hear things. And the way you use these words, and the way you present yourself, the way it looks to you, it may not be what it looks like to someone else. And I'm telling you, in a lot of cases, it's not. I'll tell you, for the whole portion of my life before I knew I was more, I was acting. I was constantly acting and portraying an image of whatever I thought in that moment, but from such a scattered place of divided consciousness and in ice, so to speak, with a nice in ice consciousness and heart that I didn't realize was encased in ice, to where I could not freely communicate messages inside myself of thought and feeling throughout my own body. my own consciousness. I was unable to. So I acted. I acted out what I thought I should be acting out in any given situation. But looking back, I know it was only a series of actions and reactions, and it wasn't fully me. That's what's that's what's so scary about it, to realize that, for me to realize I was more, and that all of that was fake to an extent, though it was very real. So now it's just a place, not a scary place of, oh, I can't, which I still, it's crazy to look back and see how the mind control worked, how the feeling control worked, how the repetitiveness of images and things broke, shattered, divided, and subdivided my consciousness and locked it into so many different places and different weird beliefs about different weird random thoughts that I never bothered to explore, that just got left rattling around until I really was able to heal. And that's only because my mind and my body and my spirit couldn't go any longer in the state I was in. And I did, for all intents and purposes, really experience my own death. My own death in a prolonged state of misery that was my mirror test. When I got to that point, when I saw what I was in the mirror and saw that, I just saw the totality of all my actions and reactions and how they weren't me. And I was forced to reanalyze it all. And I almost didn't make it through it because of the state I was in at the time, health-wise. I almost didn't make it through it. And at times I didn't want to. I didn't. Though I had to fully accept that I had been tricked so bad and everything was so broken, I was so broken, and that this was all indeed real and needed to be fixed. There were times when I was hoping my heart would stop. And at the same time, knowing if it did, that it would be the end of me in more ways than I could imagine. Or it would be a new beginning of suffering that I could not imagine if I let myself go. So I really did fight, and I really did struggle. And it was a period of time, and it took work, and it took a lot of inner work. And I have a lot of videos too where I was doing the recording then, but looking outward, trying to find someone for answers. Someone to help speed me along through this process, and just for anyone else to be able to see what I was seeing and feel what I was feeling. To tell me that the deception was indeed as deep as I thought it was, and that it could be healed from like I thought it could be, and that it could indeed change, like I had come to the conclusion or knowing that it could. But I needed it. I needed someone else to help me with it, to hear it. And the thing is now, not now, but after my darkest part of the whole dark night of the soul, so to speak, or going inside and really finding the light and then looking outward and seeing the light and relearning nature. On my hands and knees crawling around in the dirt and looking at blades of grass and feeling the earth, the different textures of the dirt in my hand and smelling it and drinking water after the rain. This was before all the extra spray. Luckily for me, I feel luckily that this was 2.5 years ago, where of course there was a whole bunch of spray, I know now and everything, but it wasn't to this extent of toxicity that it is now. Even if it was, I would have done the same thing right this second if I had been going through that process right now. Grab things like moss after a rain off the ground and squeeze it into my mouth and drink the rainwater just because it's right from nature. It was a whole relearning process that I had to do, that I did for myself, that while doing that and feeling so good finally, is really the knowing that there was more, knowing I was connected to more, was a part of more, and now I was on the right side of right, so to speak, as opposed to before, how I tried to do the right thing and get on the right side for my country, for this concept of country, in this concept of army, military, to protect the folk that I care about because it's where I live. I didn't realize that live part was where the evil inversion had taken place, and live was mirrored into evil, live backwards, as it was set up and then used, this army, this military I was in, of course, to fight and kill and hurt and control and this and that other folk. It wasn't only to defend, as the belief played out in my mind, as what I believed I was doing was in defense of something good. The left hand. The left hand, that left hand path, I got pulled down, thinking I was doing something good, thinking without bothering to feel deeply and to know I was doing something good. No. I ended up on the wrong side of wrong, while thinking I was on the right side. I know now, though, that that can all be corrected and fixed with words. Because during my healing process, I know this kind of got off the social media thing, but it's all interrelated to me anyway. So, like I said before, I can circle around from one thing to another back to wherever. It's all a center point of truth to me now. So, in saying that, as I go off into somewhere, where was I? Now I got to circle back to where I was. During the healing process, man, my throat. During my healing process, I actually started to come across and find others on YouTube and in social media, other places on the internet, as I dug deeper into researching reality. And I started to see other folk. And then things would actually, this was kind of after I researched reality. I'm sorry, kind of messing that up. My research of reality real deep came before it. That kind of led me to my meltdown. But then as I looked at reality again through new eyes, so to speak, I started to see these other folk that had been saying all these things all along, long before I came along, long before I was born. And while I was actively doing and playing out the role I was playing out in my life and doing the things I was doing, So many folks were saying all these things out there about truth, coming from a place of truth, coming from a place of knowing and feeling truth and resonating in truth. The truth of God, the truth of self, the truth of the spirit of self that is connected to God, not the inverse that is taught of that word that is then flipped to dog as they take these teachings of the creator that created this, the mother, father, creator, the what, however you want to label it. And the thing is, should not have been labeled as such, because each of us inside, we each can feel it if we let ourselves, and know it if we let ourselves know it, both sides, not just one side logically, not just one side creatively with these concepts of indoctrination to get a more expansive consciousness, but still be encased in ice and feeling. No. Knowing logically and creatively that the spirit is part of all this, that the spirit is part of all of us, and that something on a level that we cannot label because we can feel it only, maybe it's outside, it's an outside connection that's connected directly to us and throughout all of this creation. The issue is when that is labeled. Any label can work for any individual. It's yours. It's how you want to address it, call it, know it. The thing is, we each have a different, slightly version due to our experience. And some, like me, won't put a label on it as such, but will put multiple labels to try and convey that for me, it's not coming from a place of here so much when I say God or the creator or any of that stuff, because I know that here can hear one of those words or labels. God, Jesus, creator, Brahma, Vishnu. It doesn't matter. All these different, however you want to put it. It's all the same thing. Either still, Buddha, Ki, the Ka, the heart, the spirit, the soul. It's all the same. It doesn't need a label because we are it and we are a part of it, though we are not it. The creator that's above or wherever, it doesn't matter because it's not about a where, is it? The only where is here, where we can see the construct we are a part of and in. Of course, we cannot know or label outside of the own construct we live in. Just as an organism inside my body, which is made up of likely billions of little microorganisms of some form or fashion all doing their thing. The thing is, in my body, they can't know what this is called out here, what all of this is, not out here, because they are inside this enclosed system that has length, width, depth, volume, and mass in physicality. It's so easy to see that everything is already this fifth dimension. The dimension things, it's more labels for things. And folk want to argue this is more arguing on social media and this and that. This label that someone else made up. Oh, well, this dimension is that, and time is this dimension, and what number dimension is this or that, or this other ring of this. You know what? It's outside of any of our knowing, right? So it's only something to debate and argue endlessly and incessantly over, right? Please remember that. I'm going to stop because my voice, woo. And I need some more coffee anyway. And some water. Water. With some mineral sea salt in it. A little bit. Because all of those, about whatever, 80 trace minerals that's in the actual real sea salt, not the fake iodized toxic salt that's everywhere out there. Your body needs those minerals. My body needs those minerals. Your body may not need those minerals. I don't know who might be watching this. And I don't know what kind of beings are out there anymore nowadays. If you get my drift. Who am I to say who evolved from what? Not my place. However, I do know that everyone that I've seen like me, that looks like me, we all came from the same creator. We're all part of the same creator in this creation. And we can create a better way to do things physically on the ground without waiting for a certain label of a certain God or a certain someone to show up and do it for us. We can do it with words, simple explanation of these things, a simple teaching and relearning of simple life and the concepts of nature. Taught to everyone, for everyone to learn, because it's already here, they're already a part of it, it's already in them. Individuals only have to do it, and do it all at once. Do it now. Why wait? It all can change. Go inside, find the truth in yourself, of yourself, for yourself, as a part of all this, as an interconnected part. Reason it out, feel it, care about it, and about you and your physical part in all this. So no matter what you've been told, you're an integral part of this creation. Whoever you are, you're an integral part. And I would say whoever you are much more so an integral part than I am. And it's not to make myself a less than, because I know we're all on the same level, so to speak. There are no pedestals. However, I know that someone out there that could potentially watch and hear these words is in a much better position to, once they realize, know themselves, reteach themselves, redirect themselves, redirect their own moral compass in line with nature and truth, and lock it in. Lock it in. The two lower energies, the root and the sacral, the sexual reproductive, those root energies and those down lower toward the base of the spine energies, when they're controlled, and you go with the upper energies of higher up through the solar plexus, the guts, the feeling, the throat, the heart, the mind. Keep those energies locked in a right and true way while suppressing the materialistic base root energies and distractions and pulls until you get it. Until you get the mind that's locked in to an expanded consciousness that's your own, that you already have, that's only been tricked into thinking it's not there, with the heart and the guts, and turn it into knowing. Once you, whoever you might be, in whatever position you might be in society, you could hear these words, I'm sure, and in your position with your group of friends, acquaintances, co-workers, whatever your current peer group might happen to be. Once you key in and you start to speak the language of truth to them, it could cause a change in society that would sweep drastically throughout all society itself, depending on what position you're in. Because all of us are in all of these systems of control that control us. We are all of these systems that control us. They were set up for us to become a part of, to pick one, to get involved, to only stay locked in that piece of the control structure, to control other pieces of the control structure. So once the individuals within all these different control structures, once all those individuals go, wait a minute, it is all connected, isn't it? We are all of these systems, aren't we? I get it now, and I also get it how to do it in a less harmful, in line with nature way, where it's not only what I want, it's what we want. Where this actually becomes a for we the people thing, not for I the individual, just because of the power and influence I have and the resources I have. It's not just because I want this, so I'm going to make this a rule, and I'm going to make this just how something happens, because this is how I'm going to make it be set up and work. Once that's gone, that egoic master of self that has mastered you, that runs you in your little aspect of society, once that ego is broken and you know that you're much, much more than that ridiculous little confused ego, that you are an all-encompassing, expansive, enclosed system of cosmology that is a representation of creation itself, well, I figure the whole ship will right itself, so to speak. And maybe that's only because I was born on July 4th, 1976, the Independence Day that I would later come to know as being a total falsehood. Maybe, just maybe I was born on July 4th, 1976. And I was doing some number of things, and boy, sure are a lot of sevens that line up. Maybe I was supposed to go through that system and really believe in the whole independence, and then only later to realize that that independence was only gained through the slaughter of others. And maybe it was just me having to go through and be here and have those beliefs to see the truth beneath and around and above those beliefs, to then be able to speak on them, which I have been, which others are have been long before me. So don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing in my birthday or anything to mean something as in I'm supposed to be something that did something. I am not. I am only one. I am only one of many individuals that make up this entire place. And to me, I am no more or less important or special than anyone else. Anyone. Though to me now, I have become one of my own most favorite folk to be around. And I couldn't say that for the majority of my life when I hated myself. I just didn't know it. I hated myself inside for what I'd become, and I didn't know it. So I didn't, in that, maybe I didn't hate myself. That might be too strong of a word. I didn't love myself. That's what it was. And I didn't hate myself enough to stop what I was doing and re-examine myself. Until I did. And that, in that time of pain and trying to of reanalyzation and really feeling deeply and getting the wisdom out of my experience, I did hate myself. That's the mirror test. It was for me. It was my dark night of the soul. Was to see what happened and yeah. Well, now I don't hate myself because I know the change I've made, and I've made this change purposefully. On purpose, not because I was told to by somebody. Though folk like my wife tried to get through to me and tell me the right words to help get me to key in so I could change myself, I didn't listen. Which I should have long before I had to do it for myself. Or it was done for me. I still can't say for sure. To me, it doesn't matter because it's all connected. So it is all the same. There's no division. So, yeah, I'll stop here. I'm just kind of going now. Maybe I'll talk again in a bit. You get something to drink. So, and maybe this will be cut up too into something a little bit more coherent, like the other one with my son helped me with. So, all right. I appreciate anyone who listened, and really, please know that there is absolute truth, and absolute truth can be found. And it's simply the truth of nature, the truth of God, of creation, and it's inside of you, whoever you are. It's inside me. It's inside all of us. I didn't know it was there for 39 years. So, I also know, though, here's the thing. Anyone can get it with the right words. Once you find truth in yourself and you can direct these words of truth at the concepts that were created, because you already know all the constructs of all the deceptions. You already know it. You've been taught it. You've lived it. Once you find truth, you can shut down any of it with simple truth. Just by pointing out it's not in line with nature. It's either natural or unnatural. It either causes harm or it does not cause harm. It's that simple. It really is. And then to realize that we here on the ground are the causes of all of these effects, of all these control systems. We are the cause and the effect at the same time until we decide truth. Maybe for me is till when I decided truth would become my cause. What? Truth of what? Well, the truth to me. The truth of creation, of what this is, of what this experience is, of what I am and what I'm a part of, and what more obviously to me made this that I can't define, that made all of us, that we are all part of. That's that simple to me. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.